Hey guys, Michelle Martin with Ag on Wheels, and today we find ourselves in Wagner, Arkansas. Is it a white town?
A little bit.
A little bit? We're about to find out. Today we're going to talk all about farming with Will Trail of Cottonwood Farms. So you ready to show me your operation?
Let's do it.
Are you sure?
Let's try.
Okay, let's go. All right, so tell me, this obviously is not sweet corn, so it's not for consumption. So what are you growing this corn for?
It's feed corn for, like, they mix it in dog food, horse food, just for, animals, not really for humans.
So it's strictly for feed. So
Right.
A lot of times they use it for cattle as well, correct?
Yes, right. Yeah, they'll feed cattle with it, they'll feed everything with it.
And what does your typical growing season look like?
We start as early as we can, probably March 20th, if it's dry, and we try to get it all planted by the 1st of May.
And do y'all get a ton of rain here in this area?
We can, but it's been drought recently. It's been dry, but most of our stuff's irrigated, so it's a lot of work, but it gets done.
So where does your water come from? Because where I live, most of the farmers and growers get their water from the Rio Grande River. Is yours well, or where's it coming from?
We use wells. They're about, I don't know, maybe 100 feet deep in the ground, but they don't have to be that deep. We have a lot of water in our area. The Mississippi River kind of refills our aquifers. But if you go on the other side of the ridge, just 30 miles, they are low of water. They can't hardly pump. They use a bunch of runoff and stuff. But around here, we have plenty of water in the ground.
So there's just so many factors that play into growing crops that a lot of people just at home don't realize. And so tell us, I know that growing corn can be strenuous at times, like hail and environmental factors. So what is your favorite thing about growing corn?
I just think it's pretty. It's nice, tall, pretty, but really, it's a great rotational crop. It puts a lot of organic matter in the ground, a lot of everything. We try to rotate our corn and cotton mostly, and the beans, but when you rotate corn in there, you get a great yield jump and everything else.
Everyone farms in different regions, and based upon that region, there's so many environmental factors and different factors. So what exactly is it that TriberPro helps you battle here in this area?
In our area, we really battle southern rust, and we put out TriberPro shortly after tassel, and it does a great job with knocking back the southern rust. And I know friends of mine on the farm who battle southern rust and don't use TriberPro, and we use TriberPro and we don't battle southern rust.
And explain to those at home who may not know, what is that rust?
It kind of starts at the bottom of the plant, and you'll see like rust. It just looks like rust on the bottom of the plant, creeps up and gets on the kernel, and it makes it a hassle to harvest. It slows everything down.
And does it affect your yield at all?
It can affect your yield, your test weight. It can help to dry out the kernel, and it can mess you up.
So what does better yield, better deal mean to you since using TriberPro?
Well, when we decide what fungicide or what products we're going to use, we look for the price, obviously. We look for, return on investment. Is it going to make us money? Is it going to cost us money? And, TriberPro, it adds bushels to your corn yield. It helps plant health. It does all around everything. So, when you buy it, you are going to get some of your money back. It helps pay for itself in the long-term use.
Better yield, more
Better
money.
yield. There you go.
Who doesn't like to make more money? All right, so we've talked a lot of the technical stuff, but when it really boils down to it, farming and being in agriculture is more than just a job. It's an actual lifestyle.
Right.
And it's getting harder and harder to be involved in agriculture. So what is one thing that keeps you going every day?
I would say, my family keeps me farming. I got my mom's side of the family are huge farmers in Hughes. My dad's side of the family grew up on this farm. I live in the house, he grew up with on the farm, and I've just farmed my whole life, and farming for my kids now and give them a place and give them an opportunity to farm, because it is, with the prices of everything and how erratic the political structure of the world is, it's hard to get started, and it's expensive, and it takes, it takes some help.
And the markets are always going up and down, so
it's crazy.
It's a gamble. Every day you put your feet on the ground, you don't know what dice you're gonna roll, right?
Every day you walk into Caesar's Palace.
That's right, exactly. And how important is it for you to educate your children on, where their food and their clothes and their lifestyle comes from.
I think it's just about as equally as important to teach them hard work, because that's kind of what the younger generations is missing. Is sometimes you gotta get out there and get your hands dirty and do some hard work to get anywhere in life. It's not all gonna be handed to you.
Okay, so we're standing now in a field that is being harvested. Every area is different when it comes to yielding depending upon where you're harvesting at. What is an average yield here?
I would say in St. Francis County, I would say anywhere from 180, 200, dry land. Depends on the weather. It could be 0, could be 120. You never know.
With my luck, it'd probably be 0, because we all know I don't have great luck. So this field in particular was affected by hail.
This one.
And tell me, how are you able to salvage this crop? Because I would think with hail, it would be done.
Well, when it got hit, it was about a week before tassel, and it had 80% leaf loss, and you can see all the bullet holes straight through the corn. And we were able to work with our agronomists, Syngenta reps, and we were able to find out when was the best time to apply, like a fungicide, fertilizer, and the fungicide really was able to salvage it by not letting the disease really get through those bullet holes and into the plant, and they're able to keep it standing. As of right now, we're cutting it now. It's not standing up.
Hey, can't ask for more. At least you're cutting it, right?
Yeah, that's all you can ask for.
And you make a good point. You say that you had your agronomist, your Syngenta team, obviously your family, and so it takes really a team to be able to farm in general. And it takes us back to the question, why is farming so important to you?
Well, you get a sense of accomplishment whenever you start 0, it's just ground, and you see the plants coming up, and then you hit it with the fertilizer, and next thing you know, the corn's 12 foot tall, and here you are, you're watering all summer, and you're cutting it. It's just a sense of accomplishment to just see how far you've come and know that you're helping feed the world.
And every year we just get better and better, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's what we say. Some of us don't learn from our mistakes. Okay, well, every farm has a story, and I want to hear yours.
Well, my grandpa got out of the Army and was working on a farm down in Haynes, and he bought this farm in the 70s. And then they were farming here, and then my dad came back farming, and my uncle came back farming kind of later in the 80s, maybe early 90s. And then I started working out here when I was young, about mid-2000s, and been here ever since.
We all know that life is about lessons, and I'm sure you've had your fair share here on the farm. Tell me one important, impactful lesson that you've learned from your dad and grandfather.
Well, back in the 80s, they had the high interest problems, and so it was a tough time for Dad and them. And I learned that, just as long as you stick with it and you put all you can into growing a good crop, that you can make it. As long as you work hard and you get the job done, you can do it.
What's that saying? If you want something bad enough, you'll go get it, or you'll make sure it gets done. Now, everyone knows I love humor, so tell me one of your funniest stories.
Well, I got a story of a guy falling asleep running GPS, and went head first into a ditch, over a road, and into the next field, and before he stopped it. And we can go on for days. I got a story. We used to farm cotton. Well, we still farm cotton, but we'd run our module builder, and they'd run us up and down it. I don't know if anybody knows how it works, but it's got these tamps that tamp it, and we'd ride on it and jump off. And my sister jumped off and knocked the breath out of her and passed out in the middle of a cotton module when we were little. That was pretty good too. Both
those stories sound like something I would do, because I'm a bad driver and I'm really clumsy, so we'd get along great. You want to hire me? I'll be a work hand.
Come on, I need some help.
All right, here we are at the end of our journey. I know there's so much more you can show me, but time's ticking and you've got to get to harvest.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much for having us and explaining your operation and what you do to get those great yields.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Thank y'all for coming out.
Where will I be next? Only God knows. We'll see you guys next time.